demand as well have excess that can be used in the global market. Principally, what we have done in this agreement is now to make it open, and thank you to you, Your Excellency, for really pushing us to enter into negotiations with China, to enter into negotiations with the EU, so that we actually start serious negotiations around trade that is beneficial to us as a country, because trade has actually been very imperfect for a very long time.
Thank you. Let's clap for her. And I'm just thinking deeply and looking at Kenya's Association of Manufacturers. I think you need to work closely with her so that we see how to maximize on these opportunities.
Yes, yeah. I confirm we've been working closely with the ministry. In fact, from the private sector, we've gone beyond. After the signing of the agreement, we've gone to the stage of now educating the members in terms of the customs requirement for EU, customs requirement for FCFTA market. So from the private sector, we take advantage of what government has already done and educate our members. What we encourage is that let it not be a market that is accessible by only bigger companies, but also our SMEs can create and find a platform to export our goods to those regions.
So, to Ajuakali here.
Yes, thank you very much.
Introduce yourself first.
Thank you. My name is Felix Ndunda. I represent an organization called Kenya National Federation of Juakali Association. We are one of the biggest employer, Your Excellency, when it comes to employment in the informal sector. And maybe before I proceed, I would like to recognize our two members there from Juakali Association, Kamukunji, Secretary and the Chairman. If you can just wave. In the sector of metal fabrication. So the Juakali sector, Your Excellency, is a sector that for the longest has been creating employment, especially for the young people. And I can tell you, yours truly talking to right now, I'm also an artist and I do leather shoes, like the one I'm wearing here. And I'll also, your next pair, I can be able to do it for you. So that shows that the Juakali sector, we are skilled. And right now we are running several initiatives. One called RPL, it's called Recognition of Prior Learning, whereby we are certifying our artisans based on the experience they have. And mostly we are doing that through the affordable housing. And I want to reiterate what the PS Hinga said, that yes, this affordable housing is a true story. It is not a story ajaba. And you can see most of our members are being able to plug into the affordable housing. The issue here is one of the hindrances that we are facing as a Juakali sector when it comes to the affordable housing is easy access to credit, whereby we'd like the banks to look at us as a financial potential, not financial risk. Because you see, the affordable housing has been able to open up opportunities, especially for the young people, whereby not only building the houses, also they can be able to own it. And right now, as a federation, we have taken a step forward whereby in 2022, we did sign an MOU together with KCB Bank and KCB Foundation to be able to offer what I call tailor-made financial credit to our members. And very soon, Madam PS and Your Excellency, we are moving forward with KCB, whereby each and every member, wherever they are in every association, they will be able to get a credit limit so that can be able to push their business forward. And I want to thank you very much, Your Excellency. Since your leadership, we are working very closely with your government through the State Department for MSME, and whereby now Juakali sector, we are on the table when the decisions are made. And we want to thank you very much. Also working closely with our state agencies like MSEA, Wezo Fund, and the rest. And also the sector has sent me to highlight to you that we have been working very closely with MSEA, and we are part of the process that did an act to create MSEA. We have been sitting in the board of MSEA for a while, but right now we have no representation. So maybe you can consider that. Thank you.
Thank you. But you're not a good person. Not to report kwa mdozi na tukapa na
Sijachoma.
So allow me, I have a hustler in the room. alisema, ameniandikia note hapa akasema ako na kitu ya kusema. Mike, where is this hustler? Someone pass the mic to this hustler. Okay.
Okay, kwanza nishukuru Mheshimiwa Rais kwa nafasi hii. Majina yangu ni Kevin Amateshe Ahonya. Mimi ni mfanyi biashara. Nimekuwa for business for 20 years now. Jua kali. I deal with ladies shoes that has sustained my family for 20 years. On 24th, I was self-employed, and on 25th, I was forced to be among the jobless because of what happened. And as we speak right now, I don't know what to say, because now my children that have been taken care of, expecting them to be among the panelists there, their dreams are in danger. My prayer is that as much as Mheshimiwa Rais is making effort to employ as many as he can, let's understand not all people will be accommodated. We have those who are self-employed, who depend on their effort. I wake every day at 5. I sleep at 11 daily to make sure that I sustain my family and I don't involve myself in crime. And that's why up to now, I have never been handcuffed with a single police for these many years that I have been in business. I've been able to take care of my family comfortably. But now, because of what I don't know to term it if it's a politics or what, through the demonstration that was there, my place of work was burned to ashes. I work at Koja Stage on the building called Lord's House, where all our businesses were burned to ashes. And as I speak now, Mheshimiwa Rais, I have nowhere to start from. I will be happy if I can leave this room with a hope for my future and my children and my fellow hustlers that we hustle together with them.
Thank you. We feel you. We cry with you. But most importantly, we are here as a system, I think, led by Our Excellency the President, and we'll figure out on how to support the businesses to recover. Thank you. Your Excellency, you have an interjection?
Thank you very much. I really feel for my friend who just, Kevin, who's just talked. I will speak to that later, but you can count on my support as we go forward. But let me speak to the earlier issue that was raised by both P.S. Hinga and my friend Carl, my friend Carl here. As Hinga said, we came with a plan, because out of the many challenges we have as a nation, we have to figure out how do we deal with the challenges that face our nation. Challenges of unemployment, challenges of doing business, and by solving some of the public challenges that we have, we create opportunities, as Hinga said, for business to grow and opportunities for jobs to be found. Particularly on the housing program, as you have been told, countries that understand how to grow out of challenges, you build your way out of situations of depression. We had a situation in Kenya where we have a public challenge of housing. We have a shortage of 2 million houses. 7 million Kenyans live in slums. We have 1,400 slum dwellings around Kenya. And with that challenge, we decided to create an opportunity. An opportunity to create decent livelihoods for people, decent housing for people, but also create opportunities for enterprise and jobs. Because of what we have done, we have not only created 250,000 jobs, as I talk to you, physically in the construction sites. We have 200 construction sites across Kenya. We have architects, engineers, quantity surveyors, masons, carpenters, electricians, name them, working. But we also have people like Carl here, people who are in the Juakali sector. Juakali sector was never organized. I have listened to them. And many of them are saying you get a window one day, a door another day, you stay for 2-3 weeks, you haven't found something to do. And the earnings become so intermittent that somebody cannot sustain a livelihood. So what did we do with housing? We decided that this Juakali sector, we're going to formalize it. We're going to give them contracts. And when we designed the whole housing program, we made it intentional and deliberate that we are going to give a separate contract to the contractor who is doing the civil works. We are going to have a separate contract for all the other products, including doors and windows and hinges and everything else that we have in that space. And it was easier for us to give a whole contract to one contractor and they would import all these things from everywhere. But our identification of the Juakali sector was intentional because we wanted to create enterprise locally. We wanted to create jobs and support jobs locally. Many people did not believe that the Juakali would do this. But I can tell you today that we do not have a single Chinese contractor doing our affordable housing. We have all local contractors. All of them. 200 sites, 148,000 housing units are being built by local contractors. That's number one. Number two, the Juakali that was informal, the Juakali that nobody believed in and did not have quality products, we have sat down with them and we have told them we're going to give you a contract. I remember when the initial, we put together the people in Dagoretti Corner, in Ngong Road and Kamkunji and Kariobangi, and they didn't even have a name. So they came up with what was it? Ngogamka, because it was Ngong Road, Kamkunji, and Kariobangi, you know? And they wondered how this was going to happen. So number one, we standardized the windows. You cannot, in our affordable housing plan, because the way to produce products in mass is to make sure that they are standardized. So we have standardized all the windows, we have standardized all the doors, and we have standardized all the other products so that it becomes easy for the Juakali sector to produce them in mass. And once we have trained them to do a certain product and they have gotten the skill, they do not have to change the skill every moment. So today, Carl and all the other people in the Juakali sector know that a window is this size. And by the way, Juakali is not synonymous with low quality. Today, our Juakali sector are producing good quality products because we have insisted. And we told them very clearly that although we want to support you, we are not going to compromise on quality. You must make the right quality product. And you know what? We have the best human capital anywhere in the world. The Juakali today is measuring up to what we could have imported from anywhere else in the world. And they are continuously improving. And when we said we are going to work with the Juakali sector, people thought it was a joke. When we gave the first contract, I remember, Hinga, when we went to Ruiru, and we gave a contract of 120 million shillings to the Juakali sector to make windows and hinges and doors for our project in Ruiru. Even themselves, they were wondering how this is going to happen. But they have delivered, and the project in Ruiru is complete. In fact, we will be going to give out the houses shortly. Carl here and his team, they have put together the whole Juakali sector around Soweto in Kibra. They have shared the windows, they have shared the hinges, they have shared the doors, and they now have a contract of 720 million. Is that true, Carl? How much? Is it 7,200? 720 million shillings. These Juakali people. A contract of 720 million would ordinarily be funded by the World Bank or something, because it's such a big contract. But now these Juakali people are doing it. And as Hinga said, it is not just in Soweto. In the 200 sites we have across Kenya, in our 44 counties so far, we have Juakali sector working with us with contracts to produce for our affordable housing program and for our markets and for the hostels we are building. Let me just speak to one final thing that was said by Carl. And he said, we are borrowing money from the banks at 18%. You know? And the banks are here, and they are my friends. And we have had this conversation. They told me, the problem, Mr. President, is that government is borrowing at 16%. So if government is borrowing at 16%, we cannot lend lower to the private sector. I have worked on the economy, and I am very proud of what we have achieved in stabilizing the economy. We've brought down inflation from 9.6% to 3.8%. We've brought down the exchange rate from 165, now we are at 129. We have brought down TB rates. And I want to ask these good people from the bank. We brought down the borrowing of government on treasury bills from 16% where we were when we had the conversation. Now the TB rate is 8.5% from 15. Your interest rates to Carl is still at 18%. Please explain to me. You know? I mean, that's the question. You know? You told me, Mr. President, reduce borrowing by government, because if you are borrowing at 15, we cannot lend to Carl at lower. Now, I have done my part. I have reduced borrowing on TB bills now to 8. I have actually reduced it by half. You are still, explain to me, why are you still at 18% to Carl, please? You know, this is really the conversation we must have. And I appreciate that the banks are lending to the MSME sector. You've just told us you have lent 81 billion shillings. Part of that lending is to Carl and others. But you see, you need to be fair, you know, because you're making good profits. And I have no problem with making good profits. But surely, you should consider your customers. I think we must be deliberate about reducing interest rates. And the public is asking. The governor of Central Bank, Kamau Thuge, has been discussing with banks. And banks have told us, oh, you know, we are going to reduce interest rates. Oh, you know, we are going to reduce interest rates. We want you to match what you're saying with what you do, so that the sector can benefit more. And for your information, apart from cutting down on our expenditures and reducing borrowing from the market so that we can reduce rates, we've built more reserves. You know, the reason why we made a decision as government, and I drove that decision of saying, let us do more savings. Today, I can proudly tell the country that we have improved our public savings from 320 billion in 2022. We are now closing to 600 billion before the end of this year. So, and as we improve our savings, we will make it easier for resources to be available, to be lent, patient money to be lent, and then we can manage the interest rates to come down. So that people like Carl and all these other people in the Juakali sector can borrow at lower interest rates. Finally, it shouldn't be the place of government to lend money. It is the place of banks. But you know, because the banks are stuck, now we have KIE, we're trying to manage interest rates at 10%. We have Hustler Fund at 8%. We're trying to do all manner of interventions because the people who are supposed to do this, my good brother from Equity Bank, you need to do it better. And we are going to work with you to see how we can do it better. So I just thought maybe I should intervene just on that issue of being deliberate about creating jobs and supporting the MSME sector, and also trying to see how we can bring down interest rates so that they can employ more people, they can do better, and they can earn from their living and expand their enterprises and grow our economy.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I think our financial partners, you've taken that challenge, and the push is to get to single-digit interest rates. When we had a conversation with Equity, you said now you understand the Hustler Fund, and you're willing to graduate within that collateral frameworks that we discussed. Maybe just a minute on that.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Madam PS. Your Excellency, a week ago, our GCO did lead our delegation to the ministry, and personally I got the first-hand experience to understand the Hustler Fund. When I see you talk about Hustler Fund on TV, and what Madam PS told me, I got, if I had to do an exam, I'll get A in that exam. So what we reviewed with Madam PS is out of the 26 million members on Hustler Fund, the government has done grading. So we have the 9 million who have been upgraded, and we're looking at splitting those into two. So we have the 4.6 million who are grade 1. So we are working to do an enhancement so that we can incorporate them into full banking. And our GCO gave a commitment of 1 month that we should be coming to you to demonstrate how we've upgraded the 4.6 from Hustler Fund into the mainstream banking. And he also gave a commitment that we have the second level of the 4.4 million. And as part of our Equity Group Foundation, we'll have an incubator program to take them through the process of how to move from the listing phase that they were and move into proper banking. So our commitment was to then have all the qualifying members from Hustler Fund to move into our digital lending program. And to just emphasize our digital lending program, MSMEs can qualify up to 5 million shillings, and they can borrow that digitally. So that was our commitment from the GCO to the Madam PS. and they are co-chair of that program. Thank you.
Excellency, in the interest of time, allow me just a minute to bring in a development partner, GIZ, who's also talk about their commitment on behalf of all development partners. The reason being, when we talk about development partner support, what comes to GIZ, is there someone pass the mic to her, please? Irene, you can stand up and get the mic. It's only 20% comes through a budget, 80% they implement directly. So we're trying to say, how do we also get to have sight of the programs they support, and how do we align them to our priorities, so then we get to start witnessing impact in the MSME sector. And I really want you also to speak about your plans for capacity building. Thank you.
Thank you so much, PS Susan, Your Excellency. I would want to say that what GIZ is doing is only making what is good already better. The government of Kenya has already done a lot in terms of supporting MSMEs to grow, and that's also our intention, to facilitate that process that has already been started by the government of Kenya. So broadly, from the development partner side, we are looking at the pain points of MSMEs. What are the key pain points? One of them is financing, which has already been discussed extensively. For sure, a lot can be done by the government. A lot has been done by the government. And what the development partners will do is basically provide some facilitation in terms, for example, there before, when there was the issue of the credit guarantee schemes, you'd find the likes of World Bank, KfW coming in to support government to move further that process, and also have in place policies that will really support that space. When it comes to markets, and PS Regina has mentioned a lot that the government is doing in terms of that. But we know business all ends at trade. If you show me the market, then as an SME, I'm able to work towards meeting the needs of that market. And what GIZ is doing and other development partners is supporting the Kenyan MSMEs through the government of Kenya to exploit markets, both internal and external, in the region and also in other countries like US and also in Europe. PS Susan, if I was to talk about also the bit about capacity development, I'll delve deeper into it when I'm talking about what GIZ does. Again, ILO has already said what they do, and also GIZ and others are also working in that space, but I'll talk more about that. And maybe a fourth one, if you look at our SMEs, there's also the bit about innovation. What exactly are we doing to create new products? Or is it just business of, if so-and-so has a boutique and that's doing well, I also go ahead when I get some money and move into doing a boutique? Or can I, around the same boutique idea, create something fresh and new that can also give me money and give me an edge above the rest? So, and also innovation, when you're talking about the more serious innovation, coming up with new products, how do we go about that process? GIZ is also working, and other development partners, to support MSMEs. But now let me talk about what GIZ is doing in terms of capacity development. That is really our core of what we do, and that is in the space of MSMEs. So what we've done, we've worked with a few institutions to, first of all, keep it, review their curriculum so that they have a good curriculum that can not only be used by them, but can also be used by other BDS providers across the country. There before, when we were more focusing on the private sector, we also supported a good number of BDS service providers to be able to offer their services well. When it comes to, again, the issue of BDS, again, upon the request of PS Susan, what you have done is now we are looking into having an accreditation framework that will accredit BDS service providers. If you're saying that MSMEs are really the core of job creations, they create about 80% of jobs in the country. But then ILO is going to tell you about what is the quality of the jobs. And not that MSMEs want to pay little money, they're not making much profit. But how can they make much profit if their business skills are not improved? And that's what you're trying to do, to hone their business skills so they can be able to be more profitable. So in terms of that, PS Susan, like you said, there's accreditation framework that we're doing. And then above that, together with the other actors in this space, we are looking at how can we have functional business development centers so that these are not programs that are led by development partners, but that Kenyans and the government of Kenya can actually have centers.
Thank you.
Where they can do this. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Let's clap for her. So we have a lot that we can talk about. But I just want to appreciate your renewed commitment. I think we still have pending conversation on the issue of access to finance. I think, Your Excellency, we still need a round table with them. And also access to sustainable markets. We'll be taking that forward. And from our side as government, we have His Excellency the President, who is also going to share the key milestone and what we are going to do looking into the future. And to MSMEs, from where we sit, we want to say the door is open. We are there. Let's keep on talking. And let's keep on seeing how we can be able to support your business to grow. Thank you very much. Let's give another round of applause to our panelists. So, munaweza enda. Hivyo tu. Hivyo tu. Asanteni. You know, and Hinga, you and this man of equity sit together to see how we can bring that interest rates and then we increase the uptake. Asanteni sana. Tuwapigie makofi watu wetu. So just allow me now. So you can. So now we want to get into the second part of this event. As we keep celebrating you, I say today we will also be launching the new growth strategic plan, a master plan for the sector of MSME. Your Excellency, with your permission, if I don't acknowledge certain people in this room, then my life will be at risk. The CEOs just stand up. This gentleman, and I think there was a lady. So we have a CEO for Uwezo Fund. Mpigieni makofi. These people have money, by the way. They have money. You meet them outside there in the corridor. Talk to them. They'll tell you how to get money. Sit down. Then we have the Director General for Micro Small Enterprise Authority, Henry Rida. For the young people, I've heard about ile 50,000 tunapatia vijana ya kufanya biashara. Huyo ndiye amebeba hiyo pesa. Atawaambia huko nje jinsi ya kuwapatia finje hiyo 1,000 ya kufanya biashara. 50,000. And then we have the Acting Managing Director of Kenya Industrial Estate, who's been supporting our industries to grow, especially the cottage industries, Charles Mativo, makofi kwake. I have Secretary for MSME, Mohamed Doyo, just stand up wa applaud. At least niko na mfanyikazi kidogo. The boards of our various boards, just stand up, want to acknowledge you. Just stand up so that we can clap for you. Okay, we have the board of Uwezo Fund, the board of KI, the board of MSEA, the board of Hustler Fund. Iko wapi? Muko. Walikuwa nasema Hustler Fund haina board, ni kwa simu tu, si muko? Sawa, makofi kwenyu. And of course the various chairs of the board, I say thank you for coming and for making this day become this much outstanding. I'm so happy mimi ni mama yenu wa Hustler, mimi ndio nawashikia huko. So allow me to invite waziri wetu, Waziri Wycliffe Ambecha Oparanya, akuje pia. He will invite His Excellency the President, and then we'll pick it up from there. Asante, makofi kwake.
Your Excellency, the President, Mheshimiwa William Ruto, the President of the Republic of Kenya, and the Commander-in-Chief of our Defense Forces, the PSS who are here, thank you for coming from various ministries, the chairs of the various agencies within MSME sector, the chairs and the board and the members, staff within the ministry, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, let me appreciate you, Your Excellency, for sparing time to come to be with us this very important day of the World Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Day 2025. We know you are a busy person, but you have accepted to be here. It shows how focused you are on this particular sector, because this is the only sector that is going to create jobs, decent jobs for our people, and create wealth for our people. Your Excellency, you remember when you were out there moving around, one of the major problems that you saw when you talked to those entrepreneurs was actually finance. Finance has been a major problem. And as you have said, this is the work of the private sector. Private sector, in one way or another, they are trying. Sometimes they announce they have this support, and it takes time for us to see that particular support. But we are happy that through your intervention, we have Kenya Industrial Estate. It has done very well in areas of manufacturing. And that particular institution agency, Your Excellency, we need support because they are operating on a turnover of 3 billion only for a country like this. We'll need more support in that. I know there are other funds like WESO Fund, Women Fund, Youth Fund, which support groups, because these groups cannot go to the bank. If a bank manager heard that a group is out there waiting for me, he will wonder, are they lost? Because they will not be listened to. But you have been able to support these particular funds, and I'm happy that now the government is committed in bringing together these funds so that we have a robust financial system that can support this particular sector. And also, you bringing up the issue of credit guarantee to de-risk these small businesses so that also the banks can now lend to them, because they will be sure that there is at least a guarantee to some level. Their money is guaranteed. And also the Hustler Fund. Hustler Fund, for information, Your Excellency, has done very well. You remember very well, I was one of the persons when I was the other side, saying that Musilipe Hustler Fund, how can you borrow 100 shillings? When I came in, I realized how important it was, because I encountered one youth who told me, actually, these 100 shillings I borrow for my lunch, nikiwa kwa mjengo. When it is in the evening I'm paid, I pay back. I'm paid 500 shillings, I pay back the 100 shillings, and then now I'm able to use the 400 for other things. So I realized this is a good idea that you came up with, and will also require more funding within the Hustler Fund. And the fact that the bridging loan now is doing very well, you have a credit limit of 150 that you can borrow. Now, as a ministry, when we came in, we have come together as a ministry because this particular sector is big. Out of the 20 million employable Kenyans, 15 of them, 15 million are within this sector. But where are these people? So, where are these small businesses? Even Nairobi only. So we have come up with MSME Connect, which Your Excellency, we launched on 14th March, so that as a government, we create a platform where all stakeholders within this sector, there are over 30, where I chair that particular committee, they are able to bring their problems, so that as a government, we know what is their problem, in which area do we focus on to create an enabling environment for them. We had the first meeting here on 14th March, and 2 weeks ago, we had a meeting in Meru. And that's how the product of our meeting is this choir that is entertaining us. We were able to meet them there, and we invited them for this particular function. And our next focus, we are going to Mombasa in 3 weeks' time for the same purpose. That is the MSME Connect. Now, on savings, part of our responsibility is to mobilize Kenyans to save. You have already said, Your Excellency, that now Kenyans have saved 300 billion, now they are on 600 billion. But most of them are through the formal structures, those who are in employment. But now as a ministry, we are emphasizing the issue of savings within the informal sector. And within the informal sector, those who are able to enter into Hustler Fund, there is a component that you save for your future. Because even if you are in informal sector, you will reach a time that you will retire. So we have that arrangement that you can save through Hustler Fund, and we can also save informally. There is already an organization established by His Excellency the President called NEST that you can use to save informally when you are in the informal sector. Market access, you heard market access is an issue, and I wanted to bring to the attention of this gathering that we are going to have a big conference here. It's called the East African Community Trade Fair that brings together all MSMEs. It is a big function. I had the privilege of attending one in Southern Sudan last year in October, and it was very big. We are grateful that it's now coming to Kenya, and it will be there around November. So you prepare to bring what you produce so that you are able to exhibit and also connect with other people in the East African community. That is now networking, and as Kenyans, we expand the market. When we were in Southern Sudan, we found that Kenya actually dominates that particular fair, trade fair. So be aware that you prepare. It will be around November or first or second week of December, depending on the availability of the president. I'm happy of the quality. I saw what was happening there, and I think this is the best direction. With little support, we'll be able to change this particular sector. Lastly, we are engaging the State Department of Planning so that we carry out a survey of this particular sector. The last survey was done in 2016. We want to know where particular specialty, particular groups, which sector, craft, where are they dominant? Are they dominant in Eastern, so that we are able to bring up common user facilities in that region, so that we improve on quality of the products that you give. Those are the only comments I had, ladies and gentlemen, and I now want to take this opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, to welcome Your Excellency the President to make your remarks. Karibu sana. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Waziri. Please, let's take our seats. Asanteni sana. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Hamjambo. No one among us here can doubt that the MSME sector is the lifeline of our economy. While the formal sector has remained relatively stable over the past 3 decades, providing employment to about 3 million Kenyans, I think now about 3.5, the informal sector has grown in leaps and bounds, now providing livelihoods to more than 17 million Kenyans, including my friend there, Kevin. And the sector today contributes about 40% of our GDP. As government, we recognize the immense potential of MSMEs to generate jobs, provide livelihoods, and sustain our citizens. That is why MSMEs are one of the 5 core pillars of the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. It is for this reason that we established the State Department of MSME Development for the first time in our republic. It coordinates efforts and anchors a robust MSME ecosystem to promote growth and development. And I'm very proud of my appointment of Susan Mangeni to be the first PS. She comes with the requisite passion and commitment to this sector. Every other morning I find a message on my phone on what is going on in that sector. And I am forced to read. Sometimes I reply, sometimes I let pass. In our plan, we committed to end the criminalization of work by making trading licenses and the provision of trading spaces an entitlement to every citizen who applies. Today, this commitment has been mainstreamed with county governments working to harmonize licenses and moving towards a single permit regime. It is not perfect, but it is work in progress. Apart from making sure that we decriminalize the space around doing business, especially for micro and small enterprises, we've made it also easier for those who want to register their businesses. It used to be a long process. Today, from the comfort of your phone, you can register your business with just 1,000 shillings. And going forward, we're going to make it even easier for those of you who want to register limited liability companies. Ladies and gentlemen, we are also building modern markets through our affordable housing program, fully equipped with cold storage facilities across Kenya, with ICT hubs, and with facilities for trading for micro and small enterprises. Our goal is to construct at least 2 markets in every constituency, providing not only decent trading spaces, but also facilities to reduce wastage, especially of perishable goods. Already, 280 markets are ongoing, some completed, some nearing completion, and I want to commend the State Department for Housing for undertaking this exercise. And of course, the Board of Housing for supporting it. For MSMEs in the manufacturing sector, we are partnering with the county governments to establish county aggregation and industrial parks in every county. These parks will offer shared manufacturing facilities for value addition. By August this year, 13 CAIPs, or county aggregation and industrial parks, will be completed and ready for operationalization. Why are we doing county aggregation and industrial parks? I just listened to a presentation by one businesswoman who said she operates out of Karioko. And she does business with Karioko because in Karioko they have common user facilities to deal with matters leather. Karioko is very far from Bungoma or Kwale or the rest of the places. So what are we doing? To be able to enhance infrastructure available for manufacturers in the MSME sector, and recognizing that micro and small enterprises may not have the money to buy equipment on their own. It becomes necessary for us to build county aggregation industrial parks, equip them with the equipment the MSMEs require, and work with them so that they can use those facilities, common user facilities, to build their businesses and to expand their trade. And therefore, I'm asking those of you who are in this sector to begin to appropriate the space around county aggregation industrial parks. Those are your spaces. You will use those spaces, you will use the equipment in there. We are going to equip those facilities, but you're going to be the end users and you will be the end managers of those facilities. We are also committed to reviewing our policy and regulatory framework to make it easier to start and run business in Kenya. Today, we have reviewed our MSME policies to support business growth nationally. And I want to thank GIZ for the support they've given us in that space so that we can have what PS is saying, a master plan of the entire space around micro, small, and medium enterprises. The revised MSME policy integrates government priorities, including the value chain approach and cluster development. It now also includes medium enterprises to support the growth of transition from micro to small and medium enterprises, a gap that existed in the 2020 MSME policy. The government's digitization agenda has enabled the onboarding of over 20,000 government services onto the e-citizen platform, creating a true one-stop shop. This has significantly reduced business registration costs, as I said, to 1,000 shillings. This process can be initiated and completed from the comfort of your home, while the integration of e-procurement has made it even easier to do business with government. As I did commit to the country that we are going to transition to e-procurement. All government tenders will now be available to all people who want to participate online from 1st of next month. And every other process in that ecosystem, including who gets evaluated, who eventually wins the tender, for how much, is going to be available on the e-platform so that we avoid government paying for products and services more than what costs in the market. We committed to unlock access to affordable credit at those at the bottom of the economic pyramid through the Hustler Fund and in partnership with the private sector, banks and telecom companies. We have given opportunities to affordable credit to 26 million Kenyans. To date, the Hustler Fund has disbursed 71 billion and mobilized nearly 5 billion in savings. And why is this important? I know Waziri Oparanya has said we need to repay our loans. But also, apart from repaying our loans, we have given 26 million Kenyans to have a credit history. Even if you don't pay, at least we have a history that you don't pay. It is still good enough, for the next person. That this person normally pays, this other one does not pay. So we have at least brought a credit history to everybody. Of the 26 million people, they now have a credit history, which is a good thing. And the positive thing about a credit history is that you can improve it. You may have not a very good credit history today, but you have an opportunity to repair it. Tomorrow you can repair it, and progressively, when you see the need to repair it, you will then discover that it is good to have good behavior in borrowing and lending and repaying. And because now we have, count yourself lucky that you may have run away with 100 or 200 or 500 shillings, but you have an opportunity further down the road, to use that borrowing history to improve on your credit rating. There are those who have not paid. Their benefit is they have a credit history. There are those who are paying. About 7 million of them. We're now working with the banks. And I was very happy to listen to my good friend from Equity Bank, that they're now working at splitting those who are paying, about 7 million of them, into two. And now they are assessing how we can transition these people into formal banking. They can be considered now in the formal banking space, something that was not available to banks in the past. Today, the banks can look at the borrowers in the Hustler Fund and begin to, work with them towards graduating them, training them, and making them bankable. There are about 2 million who wake up every day, borrow from the Hustler Fund, and pay. There are those who now have been graduated into the bridge loan. There are people today on the Hustler Fund who borrow 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, up to 150,000 without any collateral. Their collateral is just their good manners of paying and repaying, credit history. And we are slowly changing collateral. And that was the intention of Hustler Fund. We are slowly changing collateral from having a title deed or a logbook to having a credit history upon which you can borrow and you can be lent money. So the choice is yours. You can make whatever choice you want, but now you have an opportunity to choose. At least you have options, right? You have an option to have just a credit history, which is good. You also have an option of borrowing and paying in small amounts. You have an option of graduating yourself to the next level, and you have an option of doing business around that space. The reason why I came up with the Hustler Fund was because I found 7 million Kenyans on credit rating bureaus. We had 7 million Kenyans on CRBs. I don't know whether you remember that. And they could not transact anywhere. They could not transact in any platform because they had been flagged. If you want to go to the bank, they say this man is a bad person. If you want to go anywhere, they say this lady is not good. So we removed 7 million Kenyans from the credit rating bureaus, transitioned them to a new platform where you are not condemned, but you are given a chance to either be a good person or remain around there, but nobody is condemning you. Today, we don't have people who are denied services because they are condemned by credit rating bureaus, except for those who decided to go back. As I said, the innovative 9-band Hustler behavioral credit rating system, crystallized from Hustler Fund experience, is enabling good borrowers to graduate to higher loan limits based on their credit ratings, marking a shift from conventional collateral-based lending, where you needed to have a logbook or a title or something else to be able to be given money. Now, just by having a good credit rating, you can actually access resources. Even as we take stock of these achievements today, we acknowledge that much more remains to be done to unlock the full potential of the MSME sector in creating secure and sustainable jobs for the many young people entering our job market every year. Through initiatives such as the National Youth Opportunities Towards Advancement NYOTA program, which supports youth entrepreneurship with capacity building and seed capital, the Kenya Jobs Economic Transformation Program, normally known as KJET, which aims to boost enterprise competitiveness and productivity to generate quality and sustainable jobs for our youth. The government is fully committed to supporting private sector growth. Ladies and gentlemen, even as we celebrate our MSMEs today, we must confront a painful reality. And I want to express my deepest regret for the loss of lives looting and wanton destruction and loss of valuable property belonging to our traders who were deliberately targeted by criminal elements during the protests this week. Besides the regrettable loss of lives, the biggest victims of this chaos were our hard-working traders and entrepreneurs who wake up early every day to find some of their businesses and hustles reduced to ashes, and others with broken doors and empty walls or empty stalls. Let me say this. The right to peaceful protest is protected by our Constitution. We respect and uphold that right. But what we witnessed was not peaceful protest. It was calculated chaos. It was violence. It was destruction. And it was economic sabotage. Let's call it what it is. That is what it was. Shops were looted. Businesses, some built over decades, were burnt to the ground. Market stalls destroyed. Warehouses ransacked. Investments worth billions of shillings wiped out in hours. The livelihoods of hard-working Kenyans have been shattered by deliberate acts of lawlessness. It is anarchy dressed in freedom colors. This is disorder disguised as democracy. Is this the Kenya we really want? I dare ask. Do we want to build or do we want to destroy? Do we uphold the law only to exploit its protection, to sow chaos and cripple our economy? Is this what freedom really means? Is it freedom to burn what others have built? Those elements doing this are not fighting for freedom. They are attacking freedom. I expect the Inspector General of Police and all relevant security agencies to conduct immediate, thorough, and speedy investigations. The perpetrators of this violence, looting, and destruction must be identified and prosecuted for the fullest extent of the law, swiftly and decisively. Kenya is a country governed by the rule of law, and the government will not allow such acts to destroy lives and livelihoods. To the political actors who think they can exploit the genuine aspirations of our young people to foment chaos, violence, and destruction, the wheels of justice will find you and deal with you firmly, decisively, within the full letter of the law. For those who want power, the Constitution is clear. Elections will come. Formulate a better plan. Convince the people of Kenya. Win fairly. That is how change happens in a democracy. Replacing a working plan that you may not like with no plan or with hate and violence will only make things worse, not better. And let me say this for the avoidance of any doubt. I know many families are hurting because they have lost loved ones. I know many families are hurting because they have lost life savings and done so without reason. For the MSME sector, the sector that I speak to here, which contributes 80-85% of our jobs, we have 17 million Kenyans working in this space. We have done what we think is a plan that helps move our country to the next level. I deliberately set up the State Department for MSME. It wasn't there. And I deliberately set it up because I believe this sector holds a big potential for our country. We have aligned policy. We have decriminalized the MSME sector. We are formalizing the MSME sector. We are saying registration of the MSME sector must be made simple. It must be easy for somebody to register their business. We are working with the counties, as I said, to make it easier to have a single permit so that MSMEs can make it easier for them to be able to do business formally recognized. I have said we went out of our way to get many people who are condemned in the CRBs to exit them with a hustler fund, and we are giving them credit at 8%. They were paying 300% per year. We brought it down from 300% per year to 8% per year. We have 26 million Kenyans in that space today, enjoying credit history, enjoying credit, and transitioning them further. In fact, we are now working with the World Bank and other partners to see how in that hustler fund ecosystem, we are working on identifying at least 100,000 micro enterprises so that we can give each and every one of those 100,000 micro enterprises 50,000 grant to be able to scale up their businesses. That good man there is working on it. Okay? As part of graduating businesses from a smaller threshold to the next threshold. As I have said, we are building 400 markets nationally. Again, to provide opportunities for micro enterprises, small enterprises who do business in our markets to operate in a decent place with proper trading flows, with access to hygienic facilities, making sure that we have cold rooms, making sure that we have ICT hubs, making sure that even women who have young mothers can have a place to go and attend to their children in the market space. We are, as I said, working on common user facilities, county aggregation and industrial parks, recognizing that not every small trader has the money to buy the equipment for them to manufacture the things they want to manufacture. That is why we are consolidating, aggregating in a county aggregation and industrial park so that we can equip those parks with the necessary equipment so that our micro and small, medium enterprises can carry out their manufacturing in these facilities as they are doing in Karioko here and be able to improve their products, be able to improve their markets, and be able to access even better markets. We are working on how to create bigger markets, access to markets. You saw the PS here for trade has said the East African Community Market, the Africa Continental Free Trade Area Market. We just concluded the European market, working on the economic partnership agreement between Kenya and 26 European countries. We concluded it last year. It came into force in June last year. We now have access to 420 million people market in Europe. We have concluded agreements with UAE. We now have signed agreement with the UAE market. Last couple of weeks, we also agreed with the 1.4 billion people market of China. I was in China 2 months ago. I had an engagement with President Xi, and he gave me undertaking that they are going to consider Kenya, alongside other African countries, for tariff-free access to their market. Now, a few weeks ago, that was finally concluded at the FOCAC meeting, where I had sent Minister Musalia Mudavadi, and now Africa is preparing itself, and Kenya is at the front on how we are going to access that market with our products, with our tea, with our coffee, with our macadamia, with our avocados, and all the other things that we are producing here. And we do not want to send our tea or coffee to China in sacks. We want to send it in packets where we are making sure that we have added value, we are processed, and we are getting more value. In the finance bill that I signed yesterday, we have removed all taxes on packaging material for tea, coffee, and all the other export products because we want to domesticate manufacturing in Kenya. We don't want to take our products in raw form to any part of the world. This is the plan. This is the implementation we have. What I'm asking is that, because I have tried to listen to the people organizing the demonstrations, and they have said three things. They have said they love Kenya, but they hate the leaders. And they have talked something about one term. And they have said Ruto must go. Those are the things I have listened to. You know? And therefore, I want to ask them this. Because if you truly love Kenya, as you say, don't ban your country. If you are telling us you truly love this nation, don't be part of the problem. Figure out how we are going to get solutions. If you hate the leaders, I want to tell you, hate brings conflict. Conflict brings violence. Violence is not a solution to unemployment, is not a solution to any of the challenges that Kenya is facing. So, if your strategy is anchored on hate for other people, for leaders, how are you going to provide a solution for our nation? If your protest and demonstration is anchored on hate for others, we must be honest, we must be candid with ourselves as a nation. Because what is going on in these streets, people think it is fashionable. We go there, take selfies, post on social media. I want to tell you, if we continue that way, they will finish with the small enterprises in downtown. They will move. They will be in Kileleshwa. They will be in Lavington. They will be in Karen. They will be everywhere. And we shortly will not have a country. I don't know whether that is the direction we want to go. And if it's a question of terms, the Constitution already has sorted out and settled the issue of terms. Terms are limited. You can either be one term, you can be two term. Maximum. You cannot have more than that. So what is this craze about terms? The Constitution already provides for those terms. So please, let us look for the solutions of our challenges. And solutions cannot be found in terms. Solutions are found in strategy and a plan. And if it is Ruto must go, tell me how you want me to go. What? You know? I mean, let's be honest with ourselves. What do you mean? What do you mean by Ruto must go? How do I go? Because we have a constitution in place, dear people. Right? Yes. If you want Ruto to go, please, my simple advice to you, look for a better plan. convince the people of Kenya that you have a better plan. This one of mine has created 250,000 jobs in the housing sector. Look for one that creates 500,000. This one of mine, I have brought down the cost of unga from 240 to 160. Look for one that brings it to 50. Violence will not. Anarchy will not. It will not sort out our country. Let us not fool ourselves. So, let's be honest to one another. I have listened to what these people are saying. So, if you want Ruto to go, please, do the honorable thing, Develop a better plan than the one I have. Yes. The one that creates more jobs than the one I have. The one that brings down the cost of living than the one I have. The one that creates more opportunities for the young people of Kenya than the one that exists. Do not tell us that you hate so-and-so. This one must go. That one must have this term or the other. And you have no strategy. I have said, you cannot replace a plan that is working that you don't like with no plan. The only thing you have, you are armed with hate and violence. And then you want us to agree with you? Really? Please. There are very few fools in Kenya. Persuade us. If you persuade us, I can also go and concentrate on farming and help in food security. If you have a better plan, but don't ban the country for heaven's sake. We don't have another country. And I want to ask the leaders, religious leaders, political leaders, who are encouraging this movement towards violence and chaos and anarchy. What is your plan? So, you're telling these young people to burn the place. You're telling them to cause violence. So that what happens? So that we move to where? So these are questions that we need to ask ourselves as Kenyans, because if we go this route, we will not have a country. Yes. And the country does not belong to William Ruto. The country belongs to all of us. And if there is no country for William Ruto, there is no country for you. So let's really be honest with ourselves and let's be candid. What is it that we are trying to achieve? Yeah? So, finally, good people, to the MSME sector, your resilience is our nation's strength. Your success is our collective prosperity. Kenya will not be held hostage by violence. We will protect our economy, defend our democracy, and secure the livelihoods of all Kenyans. It is the responsibility that is on my shoulders now, and I want to assure this nation I will do the best that I can to protect everybody and to protect everybody's business, because it is the responsibility that I have at the moment. Until that responsibility is exercised by somebody else, I will do it. So let's just be clear that we cannot continue in this manner. We have to find another way of doing business. We cannot continue this way. It is not possible. We cannot continue to have people like Kevin. We had many people with jobs on 24th. On 25th, their jobs went up in flames. We had many people with businesses on 24th. Today, they are living in squalor. They don't know what to do next. You know, and there are people who are telling us, oh, 25th was very successful. Really? It was successful? With people having died? With so many people hurt? With so many businesses destroyed? With many businesses up in flames? Was it successful? We are going to answer those questions as we go forward. So, good people, let me say I'm very happy that I came to participate in this international celebration of MSMEs, because if there was a place for us to participate, it is in this space, because it carries 80% of our working people in the Republic of Kenya. We will continue to work with you. We will continue to build the structures to support this space, and God willing, we're going to make it better. Asanteni sana, and God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for that wonderful and reflective speech. Your Excellency, if I may request that we remain on stage. Let's take our seats, please. Allow me to invite the CS, the PS, Susan. Let's also have the two gentlemen who will be representing the hustlers. We also are going to witness the launch of the strategic plan, the MSME Development Strategic Plan. And as a result, we have it to your right. So if we can kindly have the buzzer brought to stage. If we can have the buzzer brought. As we now launch the MSME Development Strategic Plan for the year, which will be done by His Excellency. And at the count of 3, we shall then press the buzzer, and the strategic plan is to the right. So, Your Excellency, you're welcome to just go. Let's flank him as he's there in 3, 2, 1. And let's press the buzzer, and there you go. Perhaps to get a clearer view of it, I don't know if the curtains, they don't open this way. So we may come and just see it from the bottom of the stage. It's right in there. Your Excellency, you're welcome to just come and stand from here and see it as we come to the end of this particular session. Thank you. We may now be upstanding, and choir will finish with the anthem, just one stanza of the national anthem, as we now come to the close of this particular session. Choir, are we ready?